So, Pulse RDR, you know, first thoughts on this thing, feed neck is absolutely fantastic. Even without a speed feed, you got tons of room here to dump your paint and you're not going to spill any paint anywhere. The latching mechanism is really good. You can dive, it's not going to pop open on you. You know, one thing, if you have a Empire axe or if you have a gun with a huge feed neck, clamping feed neck, it will contact your loader and you're going to mar it up a little bit. So it's an extremely tight fit. As you can see, it's not pushed down all the way, and there is not a lot of room left. Push it down, and we have contact. But overall, low profile. You know, on your loader, it's probably the same size as a Spire, you know, Z2. I think it's just slightly larger than the rotor. So, if you look inside, you can see some ledges on the inside. You can see our drive cone area right here. But if you see the edges right there, you can get paint stuck there. So if you're leaning out and you're shooting outside of a bunker, you're going to have to tilt back in and level the gun out. It was pretty notorious for catching paint in there. And then also, you know, one thing I didn't like is I did actually feel it jam one time during shooting. And didn't feed for a second, and then all of a sudden you felt it go, and then you could shoot. It does have an anti-unjam button over here. You can press this and it'll do it. But just overall design, you know, the drive assembly, the drive cone area leaves a little bit to be desired. You know, if they had reduced ledges or made it so they tilt down at a different angle as opposed to being pretty flat right here, it would have been a lot better. So that's my initial thought in that. Not too impressed with that. And again, with the, you know, jamming and sometimes not feeding because of the paint sticking, I don't think I'm going to be selling my Prophecy. Alright, so turn it on. You press and hold the two outer buttons. You see a countdown. So you feel this pulsating through the gun too. When you're sitting there, obviously not shooting, you can feel it pulsate through the gun as it's tensioning the balls right there. So here we go. We got paint stuck on the side. So if you look at the drive cone area, you can see that you have a pretty big ledge on the RDR, and on the Prophecy you have no ledge. You know, it's side shell and then drive cone. Much, much better design. So you can see the yellow battery indicator right there. Turn it off. No. But you can see it flashing the red right there. You know, after nearly 2 cases, not even full 2 cases, they have it pretty low, and the battery life is kind of crazy. So battery life on this thing doesn't seem to be that promising, and after 2 cases on it, it's already in the red and yellow area in the battery indicator. Haven't ran it completely dry yet. Gonna try that next weekend, see how many cases we can get through it before it actually goes dead. Yeah, since it's not a pigtail connector, it's kind of hard to see how much of an impact, you know, turning on a Chrono. Obviously you have an LCD, and it has to be activated along with the Chrono, the radar up front. You know, it's just kind of interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see what the battery drain would be, you know, compared to the LCD being on or off. But since it's not a pigtail and you just have a little bit of working room in there, you're not going to easily be able to tell. You know, there's not a lot of room to get a wire in there, do an amperage reading, see what your current is on it, current draw. But the battery life on it, you know, batteries were about 1.59 before I went out there today. Checked all 4 of them, you know, brand new Energizers, and then you know, came back and checked them. They're about 1.36. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when you run it down and what when it stops working. You know, what battery voltage they are. But I'll update with comments for that. So, you know, the shell seems to be really durable. Feed neck, you have no wiggle on there. It seems to be a good plastic, almost like a nylon-ish material, like kind of like the rotors. You know, not like our wonderful possible break, you know, Halos and Prophecies and early Pinocchios. But the the shell seems to be good. You know, it doesn't look like it takes a lot of, doesn't show a lot of wear. You know, much less than the Prophecy. Which is a good thing. I thought it was going to be pretty bad, but once you got that kind of little coat of oil, it actually turned out all right. And then just the battery life seems to be pretty concerning. The internal design around the drive cone, in the jamming that I had, you know, you have an unjam button back here, but you know, mid-game, you know, if you're in a game and you got a Prophecy, you're not going to have a jam. It's gonna unjam it before you'll even know. Whereas this one, you'll be able to feel it right away. You know, any gun with eyes, you're gonna be pulling the trigger and nothing's gonna happen. That's a little bit frustrating. So, am I gonna be selling my Prophecy anytime soon? No. I'm gonna give this guy a few more weekends, see what's gonna happen, but not looking too promising right now, you know.